Marta was a young photographer, known for her ability to capture the most precious moments and transform them into art. Every time she picked up her camera, she knew she would capture a moment of life that would last forever. For her, photography was not just a job, but a true mission. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell. Her photos were emotion, fragments of happiness, love, joy, and even tears. She was loved by her clients for her attentive eye, for her sensitivity, and for the passion she put into every shot. Her talent had allowed her to build a successful career. She had become one of the most sought-after wedding photographers in the city. The newlyweds, trusting her artistic instinct, contacted her months, sometimes years, in advance to ensure her presence on the most important day of their lives. Every morning, Marta got up before dawn, carefully prepared her equipment, and immersed herself completely in her work, confident that every wedding, every event deserved her maximum commitment. Marta was married to Luca, a man she loved deeply. He was her refuge after long days spent running from one event to another, between photographs to take and to arrange. Theirs was a relationship based on trust and authentic love. Luca supported her in everything she did, despite the frenetic pace of her work. He was always there for her, ready to give her a hug when the day had been too heavy, or to laugh together about some small, unexpected event. Their life was peaceful and serene, at least until that day. Marta, while working on an important photo shoot for a very famous couple, began to notice that something was wrong. She could no longer focus on the details as before, and everything seemed to be wrapped in a thin but constant fog. At first, she thought it was just tiredness, a consequence of long days of work without rest. But as time went by, the situation worsened. The fog before her eyes grew thicker and began to affect her ability to work. Marta, driven by Luca's concern, finally decided to consult a specialist. The medical visit changed her life. Sitting in front of the doctor, she listened attentively to his words as he explained the diagnosis. "Marta," the doctor said gravely, "you have a tumor on your pituitary gland. It's compressing your optic nerves, and that's why your vision is getting worse. The only solution is surgery. I can't guarantee that you'll get your sight back completely, but there's a chance." Those words hit her like a punch in the stomach. It wasn't just the prospect of losing her sight that terrified her, but also the thought of having to undergo surgery. Marta vividly remembered her mother, who had died years earlier due to a complication during surgery. The mere thought of having to go into the operating room paralyzed her. She didn't want to take that risk. "No," she said with a trembling voice, "I can't do this." Luca tried to convince her. He told her about their future together, how important it was for her to regain her independence. "Marta," he said softly, "we can't live in the dark. You have to fight to get back to doing what you love." But Marta was adamant. The fear was too strong. Just as she was trying to come to terms with that diagnosis, a new twist changed everything. Marta discovered she was pregnant. The news hit her like a wave, mixing joy and terror. On the one hand, she was excited about the idea of becoming a mother. On the other, the thought of not being able to see her baby grow filled her with anxiety. The pregnancy progressed, and with it, Marta's eyesight worsened. The fog turned into total darkness. Every day was a challenge, every step an unknown. She could no longer work. She could no longer take photographs. She felt helpless. Luca, always present, was close to her at every moment. He cared for her with love and patience, helped her move, to do the simplest things of daily life. Marta, however, was devastated. Not being able to see the face of her son or daughter broke her heart. The months passed, and Marta, now blind, tried to prepare herself as best she could for the birth. The long-awaited day finally arrived. Marta gave birth to a baby girl, Julia. The moment was full of emotion. She felt the little girl in her arms. She could perceive her smell, her soft skin, but she couldn't see her face. Tears were streaming down her face as she held Julia to her chest, wishing with all her heart to be able to look at her. A few days after giving birth, something extraordinary happened. One night, Marta dreamed that she was in a lush garden, surrounded by brightly colored flowers. In the middle of that paradise, she saw her mother, smiling and serene. "Marta," she said in a soft voice, "don't let fear imprison you. Life is made of colors. You can't live in the dark, not when you have so much to see." Marta woke up with her heart pounding. Those words resonated inside her, like an invitation not to give up. For the first time in months, Marta felt a new hope growing inside her. She hugged Luca and, with a strength she no longer thought she had, told him, "I have to have the surgery. I want to see Julia. I can't go on like this." Luca looked at her with eyes full of love, knowing how much courage it took to make that decision. A few weeks later, Marta was ready for surgery. As she entered the operating room, she felt a mixture of fear and determination. "Luca," she said, her voice breaking with emotion, "if anything happens to me, take care of Julia." He squeezed her hand, reassuring her, "Everything will be fine. See you later." The operation was a success. The tumor was removed, but recovery of her sight was not guaranteed. The doctor was clear. It would take time and patience to understand how much of her sight would return. Marta, despite everything, was confident. She felt she had made the right choice, and now all that remained was to wait. Every day she woke up hoping that this was the right day. Then, one night, something unexpected happened. Marta opened her eyes and saw a light coming from the hallway. Her heart raced. She got out of bed and headed to the next room where Luca was cradling Julia. It was the first time she saw her baby girl's face. With tears in her eyes, she took Julia in her arms and whispered, "You are so beautiful, so much more than I could have ever imagined." The family hugged each other, overwhelmed with joy. Marta had regained not only her sight, but also the light in her heart. Now she could finally see life and all it had to offer her. Marta's story teaches us that even in the darkest moments, we must never let fear stop us. Life is made of colors, and sometimes, to see them, we must find the courage to face the darkness and go beyond. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next story.